If you spend any time in Oakland or around Pittsburgh over the last 4 decades, today's guest needs absolutely no introduction. They are a true Still City institution. Family owned and operated since 1980, they are the definition of Pittsburgh pizza tradition. Please welcome Eutimio Sciulli from Sciulli's Pizza.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I've been wanting to have you on the podcast for quite a long time. My family has a pizzeria in Western PA, and you're in Oakland, which is probably about an hour, hour and a half from us. And I love Pittsburgh pizzerias.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up here, working here since I was 5, me and my brother. So it's in our blood. So it's something we love. We have a passion for it, and it's all about family.
That's so cool. So, I'm gonna do some math here, which may or may off, but it seems like, like you said, you and your brother were kids and you grew up in this pizzeria. So is this something that your parents began?
My dad, Antonio, and his 2 brothers, Gabriel and Oriente, they
Hmm.
started it. And they,
That's cool.
we were here after school when we were kids, and then all summer kids would go on summer vacations, we'd be at the pizza shop. So it was our life then and it's our life now.
Very, very cool. And where are you guys from in Italy?
Abruzzo. I'll be heading over there August 1st.
That
Yeah,
wow.
it's in our
We're from
blood, like,
Abruzzo too.
really. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather was from Langiano and my grandmother's from Chieti.
Okay. So our little village is Gamberale,
Yeah,
and that's in the province of Chieti. We're pretty close to where your ancestors are from as well.
that is incredible. Okay, and you're going there August 1st?
Yeah, this will be my 7th time there. Like, I'm a regular.
Very cool. So I'm going to Italy on July 24th. So
Okay.
this is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, were your grandparents immigrants, your parents, or how did it work?
So my grandfather came here in 1955, and
Mhm.
he left the family behind for 10 years to, work, make money, send it over, build a house over there, and then buy a house here. And then 10 years later, my dad was 10, my uncle, one was 17, one was 18, and my aunt is my dad's twin, so they were both 10 years old, coming here, not knowing the language, and they made the ultimate sacrifices to be here, and this is the product,
Yeah,
pizza
this is
shop.
yeah, this is absolutely the product. So my grandfather came over and he started working the coal mines when he was 12 and then opened the pizzeria in 1960.
Nice, nice.
This is really incredible. I feel like our families have a very much of a parallel story.
Sure, sure. Both my uncles worked in the mill, and obviously in Pittsburgh, like, the mill industry took a hit, and that's when, we had to figure other solutions out, which would be your roots. So pizza and hard work is in our blood.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Let's talk about what kind of pizza you guys are making. Our pizza is a traditional Abruzzo style pizza, and I'm wondering if we have, similarities between the two types of pizzas.
Sure, sure. So obviously we make a Pittsburgh pizza. It's a little bit thicker. We specialize in, like, the Pittsburgh pizza, so it's a little bit thicker than a New York style. But
Yep.
we also make our Sicilian, which is phenomenal. Like, I made a shirt because, well, like, we call it the cuts. People say it's a slice, but, like, if you understand, like, I've been there so many times, they say taglio, which means cut. So, like, when
Yeah.
you cut a pizza, it's tagliare. You're cutting the pizza. So a lot of people always want to correct people from Pittsburgh. It's not a cut, but cut means taglio, which means, like, you're cutting a pizza. You're not using a pizza slicer, you're using a pizza cutter. That's what we call it. So, but our
Yeah.
Sicilian, our Pittsburgh style, and I have tons of people from New York that come in here and they're like, this tastes like New York, like this, and I'll make it thinner for them if they want it thinner. I make a deep dish for people like from Chicago, and I just let people know whatever you want, you tell me and I'll make it. So,
That's so,
but
so
as
cool.
far as like the Abruzzo pizza, last year when I was there, my father-in-law, his cousin has a pizza shop in Pizzoferrata, which is a little town next to ours. And so I went to
Mhm.
go see how he does his things and try his pizza. And it's, it's a thinner crust, but a little thicker than the Napolitan. So I think everybody makes their pizza different, no matter where, what region you go to or what part of Pittsburgh or what part of America. But pizza is life, and pizza brings people together. You
Yes,
know,
it does, and it very much is made from the what you were taught in the area that you're from and the families.
sure.
Yeah, that's what makes it really special. Will you take me through the story and the journey of how you guys opened in Oakland?
Sure. So this pizza shop was owned by two brothers that were from our town, Gamberale, and they were good friends with my dad and his two brothers. And they reached the point where they could expand and move on. So they purchased the pizza shop from their friends, and it was more like a late night pizza shop. Like they were open till 2 or 3 in the morning, and we're in like a college area. So the University of Pittsburgh, Carlow University, Duquesne University, Carnegie Mellon, they're all down the street. Carlow is right across the street. University
Yep.
of Pittsburgh's right there as well. So they had a different vibe back then. It was like, we're selling like pizzas for $3 in 1980,
Yeah.
like, that's non-existent today. But then they were, everyone had a job as well. So my uncles lost their job in the mill, and I was about to be born, and my dad, he had to move on for benefits for a family, so he went into the construction field, and my two
Yeah.
uncles stayed here and ran the pizzeria, but they were never married. So my brother and I would be here every day with them. We were like their kids, and I like to call them like my older brothers because they taught us everything.
Yeah.
So going through grade school, high school, every summer we would be here unless we went to Italy for the summer, but we were here every day, and we were alongside them, and they taught us the ropes until both of my uncles unfortunately passed away. So when they passed away, we were finally given the torch to take over ourselves. I mean, we were here ever since I went to high school. I knew I wasn't going to college. This was going to be it. So
Yeah.
everyone, were taking SATs and worrying about college, and I was like, I know what I got to do. I'm going to be in it to win it for life in the pizza shop. So we took over. I would say like 2021, like, but we've been here since we could, since we were 5, but we actually
Yeah.
got to call the shots and do everything. So, we expanded, we opened another room for like a party room. We got a liquor license, we expanded delivery, we added DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber, you know, we got contracts with sports teams, like university football teams and sports programs. Like we took something that we were taught and we brought it to the next level. And I think like I know they're smiling down. I know they're probably saying like you're crazy because they were content with, you know, a line out the door or nobody coming in. And we're at the point now where we're like we have a line out the door most of the time, and not too many pizza shops have 100 pizzas before 11 a.m. almost every day.
Wow, that's a lot of pizza.
Yeah, we make a lot of pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I love your story because it is the Italian way. It's learning the trade of your family and then carrying the torch, and that is incredible.
sure. And then not to mention, like, the one turning point was, like, in 2012 excuse me a second,
Yeah.
when I got married. I knew that, like, I had to make a big step because we were having fun here, but now I have a decision to make. I wanna have a family. I wanna be able to afford to be able to work here and sustain a family at the same time. So the one
Yeah.
day I said to my uncle, I said, you know, I brought him out to the sidewalk and I said, like, "We have to get in those buildings. We have to get contracts. We have to figure out a way that we can get huge pizza orders. Not only is it nice to have walk-in traffic, but I want pizzas going out the door. I want 20 pizzas at a time for each order going out the door." And he goes, "How are you gonna do that?" I said,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna make a couple pizzas and I'm gonna walk into like catering departments, and say like, hey, I don't know if you have a vendor. I don't know if you have you don't use any vendors, but here's our pizza. Here's my menu. If you change your mind or if you feel like you want to order some pizza sometime, try it." And some people said, "No, we're not interested." And then some people said, "We'll let you know." And 2 weeks later, bang, we had like one order for like 200 pizzas. And they said, "As long as you can do it, we will order it." And that's been going on since 2012.
That's
So we
so
we can
incredible.
pump out yeah, we can pump out some pizzas. And then not to mention like COVID was a huge hurdle for us. So
Yeah.
like we're in college town, we're in hospital town, and when you can't go into a hospital and there's no students on campus, there's not too many families around here. So a lot of small pizza shops thrived during COVID because people would support their local pizzeria. Well, we didn't have locals because our locals were college people. So we had like an incredible thing going on where like we'd be so bored, we'd be playing cards in the dining room on a Friday
Yeah.
because we were so bored. And I'll never forget the one Friday night, the phone rings and I see on the caller ID Pittsburgh Steelers. So I was like, let me answer. Like Sciulli's
Yeah.
Pizza. And the guy who's on the other line is the head of security for the Steelers. And he says, "I have an anonymous Steeler that would like to purchase 300 large pizzas for like the nurses, doctors, frontline workers at the hospital." So I said, "No
Wow.
problem." He goes, "You just said no problem to 300 pizzas." I said, "I'll make 1,000 pizzas if you need 1,000 pizzas. We'll make it happen. Don't worry about it." So as
Wow.
soon as I hung up the phone, I called my uncle and I said, "We gotta we gotta knock out these pizzas. It'll be in 2 weeks." So they gave us a 2-week notice. Well, during COVID, the thing was people didn't want cross contamination. So when the hospital found out this, they shut it down. And they called me back and
Right.
said, "We don't want you to lose an order like this. So we want you to make 600 personal pizzas for lunch and 300 for dinner." And I said I would make 1,000. We'll make 1,000. So we did. We were in the USA Today and we were all over the place. And I could like to this day, I am grateful for the Steeler that did that. And if you don't mind, I'm going to say Joe Hayden. He was an awesome man. So
It's
I'm
incredible.
grateful for that. Yeah, and that was our busiest day ever. I'll never forget that.
That's so
So
cool. How has the neighborhood changed since the 1980s when you guys opened?
so like now we have a 14-story science tower next door. That's gonna have possibly 5 to 700 people per day. Then
Wow.
we like as far as the neighborhood, we're the smallest, oldest small business in Oakland left. Everybody
Yeah.
is in these new buildings, and we're in the building that my dad and my uncles sacrificed to buy back then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as the style of business we do, I told you we knock out pizzas before 11 a.m. So we don't really cater to the late night business. Like we'll close at 7 Monday through Thursday, and then Saturday we close at 9, Friday and Saturday. But
Okay.
what we do is like we try to make it affordable for the students. So on every Saturday, I make a small $5 cheese pizza.
Nice.
And it's nice to see like all like grabbing new customers because you $5, you can't even buy a hamburger at McDonald's anymore for $5.
Nope.
You're getting a small pizza, you know. But the thing is people come in, they'll say, "Oh man, this is good. I'll grab a six pack or I'll get an Italian hoagie or something." It's just it brings people in, you see a smile on their face, you know, and you get that's all we work for is like we want to see people happy, we want to see people enjoy our food, and we want to bring them together. Like right now in the other room, they're watching the Argentina England game, so we have a full room over there. I can hear them, but it's
That's so
that's what it's
cool.
all about.
Yeah, that is what it's all about. What is the best part for you of running a business with your family?
Well, to like I always say, like I usually come in here first. I make the sauce and dough every morning, and I open the door and I could feel like my uncle's presence. Like I could feel that they're here with us. But
Yeah,
working side by side with my brother, we're best friends. I mean, so that's brothers and that's friendship. So I wouldn't change it for anything.
yeah, that's very special. I have
Oh
that
yeah,
same feeling when I'm in my family's pizzeria that my grandparents are there, and same thing, my siblings are my best
sure.
friends, and there's no better feeling than that for sure. And for people who don't know or, like, haven't been to Pittsburgh, what would you, like, define, like, Pittsburgh pizza? How would you describe it?
I would probably it depends because I pay attention to, other pizzerias. I've seen, undercooked pizza, like a white bottom or a white
Yeah,
crust or like to me I like a golden brown or a little darker. I don't want it burnt, but I don't want to flop and I want to see like, a nice brown crust and a nice brown bottom.
you
So to
too.
me that and you wanna be able to taste the dough. You don't wanna have this floury, bottom or like a gooey, undercooked pizza. Like to me, that's not pizza.
Yeah.
But I would say probably a little thicker than normal,
Mhm.
but usually a sweeter sauce, I would probably say. But other than that, like ours, nice undercarriage, brown, sweet sauce, salty cheese, and cooked perfectly.
Yeah, that sounds so delicious. Now, if you had to recommend something to someone who, was newly coming in, what's your go-to?
Well, I always ask them, I say, "It depends your style." So, like, people love our Sicilian. So, like, we only make the Sicilian cuts for slices. We don't make the regular traditional pizza. We do offer, like, a junior personal pizza and
Mhm.
one topping and a drink for $10. So that's
Wow.
usually what people just they go nuts over that. But then you can get 2 slices and a can of pop for $8, so you might as well get the junior. But people love the Sicilian. We'll go through just on Sicilian slices or cuts, you would go, I wanna say about 60 to 80 cuts a day, and then our actual Sicilian pizzas, they're like 16 by 16,
Mhm.
the 12 cut. We probably make about 30 of those a day.
That's so
So,
awesome.
yeah, and on average, like, our dough making, I make about 4 to 7 batches of dough a day.
Wow, you guys are really I love that you're really in it. You're just a classic, amazing Pittsburgh pizzeria, which is my favorite kind of pizzeria.
Nice.
I wanna tell the audience listening, I want you guys to go and follow them. It's at Sciulli's Pizza on Instagram. Where else can they find you? Like, what's the easiest way?
Schully'sPizza.com. We also have the merchandise on our website, so if you like a hat or a hoodie, We have Facebook, but our Instagram is our number one following platform.
Awesome.
And then,
Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, if you're ever in Oakland, like, and you Google pizza, we're your top search. So definitely,
Wonderful. Well, the next time that I'm in Pittsburgh, I'm definitely gonna stop by and have some pizza with you guys.
I
I
appreciate it.
wanna Yeah, no, I really want to. I'm so excited about everything you guys are doing. Thank you so much for taking the time and being a guest on the podcast today.
Thank you. And I forgot to mention that when you walk in, a lot of people from like New York or Connecticut that come in, they see the wooden panels and the bright orange, booths, and they're like, "This is home." Like, you're gonna get a good pizza here. So I
Yeah.
just want we're not changing that, so it's gonna stay like that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you.